What? Hi everyone, it's Rhonda and welcome to a new video. So this week my husband is out of town for work. He doesn't go out of town very often, but every so often he does. And about a little over a year ago when he was out of town, I filmed a 24-hour readathon. And I thought, you know what, that might be fun to do this week. My kids started school this week. He's out of town, and I felt like this would be the best time to film that type of video since I don't get to do reading vlogs very often, or at all for that matter. And on my community tab, I told you guys that I was going to film some form of a reading vlog, and I asked you guys to vote. And I said I can either do a 24-hour readathon like I did last time, or I can just do a week-long reading vlog. And you voted for the 24-hour readathon. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I am old and I cannot stay up for 24 hours straight, let alone 24 hours straight and do straight reading. My brain can't handle that, and I also need sleep. So I'm going to do kind of what I did last time, and I'm just going to read all day today until I can't anymore. I'm hoping to get at least 12 hours in, if not more. And then tomorrow I'll finish up the video and we'll see how many books I can get through. I think last time I did like 5 or 6 books, which was really, really good. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. I am getting a later start. It's after 9 o'clock, and I was hoping to get started at around 8, but there was, school started yesterday, and there was some bus issues with, at our bus stop. The bus was really late. I ended up having to take them to school. Well, the bus was late again today. I did not take them to school. We just sat and waited for the bus. It was like 30 minutes late. So that meant my kids were late for school. And so that kind of put me 30 minutes behind. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's fine, but that's the reason why I'm getting a late start. But let's talk about how today's gonna go. I don't have a ton to do. I need to go to Target and get some last minute school supplies for my kids. I also need to do a little bit of work. So I'm gonna mix up physical books and digital books as well as audiobooks. I don't think I did audiobooks last time, but I'm gonna need to do it this time around so that I can get some other things done that I need to get done here at the house. And I'll be stopping the timer here and there, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna read as much as we can today. Let me get up and show you which books I wanna pick from and how I'm going to pick them, because it's gonna be a little bit different. Okay, so these are the books that I'm going to pick from. There's a lot of them. I'm not gonna read all 18 books. I'm probably, like I said, gonna read somewhere between 4 and probably 6 books. But a lot of these books are just some summary books that I had on my summer TBR that I still need to get to. I have my August TBR up here that I really haven't touched, so I need to get to that. And then I also have some summer thrillers that I really want to read. I feel like when you do these type of readathon or reading challenge videos, you need some books that are fast-paced that's going to keep you going, and I feel like thrillers really do that. And so that's why I put those on there. But in order to pick which books I'm going to read, I am so indecisive. I'm probably the most indecisive person you'll ever meet. And if I look at these books, I'm like, well, I want to read them all. I don't know which one I want to read first. So I ended up putting the titles on little pieces of paper, and I'm just going to randomly draw a book as I finish them. So let's go ahead and pick the very first book I'm going to read to start off this 24-hour readathon. And that one is going to be This Is Not a Game. That is perfect. This is a new purchase for me, and this is on, I think this is on my TBR for the month of August, and I've been wanting to read this. All I know is it's about a grandmother-granddaughter duo who I think they've been invited to this manor house on Mackinac Island, and a murder happens and they need to work together to solve a murder. And I think this is just going to be a silly good time. So let's go get this party started with This Is Not a Game. I'm going to head over to the couch and get a comfy blanket, get some pillows, and get nice and comfortable and start the timer. you an update. I am a little more than 2 hours into this readathon, and I'm about actually a little bit more than halfway through This Is Not a Game. I'm on chapter 23, page 163, and sadly, I'm not loving this at all. So this book is about a grandmother-granddaughter duo, and the grandmother was invited to go to this party at this manor on Mackinac Island. She is actually a local of Mackinac Island, and this is set during November, and there's a storm coming. Well, at this party that she invites her granddaughter to as well, the hostess of the party is murdered, and a storm is coming in, so there's no police. They can't leave, so it's definitely kind of like a locked room murder mystery. This is definitely a cozy mystery, and I usually like those, but this is pretty slow, and it's going around in circles. Cozy mysteries are slow to begin with. I was expecting to be laughing in this book, and yeah, there are parts that are kind of funny, but for the most part, I'm not digging it. I think what's really bothering me with this one is the grandmother and granddaughter. They seem kind of like a cliche. Their characters, there's no chemistry between the two. Like, their relationship seems very surface level. It doesn't seem realistic. It just seems very cliche. So I'm not liking their relationship. I'm not liking any of the other characters. Now, the granddaughter in this book, I believe, lives in Chicago, and she invented a murder mystery game. So she's kind of like a gamer, and that is kind of like what she's bringing to the table in terms of helping her grandmother solve this murder mystery. She's very big into that, and so she kind of knows what to do because of her gaming history. I don't know. I am getting a lot of Clue vibes, and usually I do like books that have Clue vibes, but this one just, it's like I said, it's not doing anything for me. I don't know. I've read better, but I'm going to power through this and finish it. Hopefully I'll be done a little bit after. What time is it right now? It's 11:30. Hopefully I'll be done by around 1, and we can pick our next book, and then I can get the audiobook and go run my errands and do some things I need to do and give my eyes a break. But yeah, not a fan. I'm done, finally. All right, first book is done. We are at 20 hours and 56 minutes, and that means it took me about 4 hours to read this, which is about right for a 300-page book. Unfortunately, my opinions on this book did not change. I was hoping something would happen that would maybe push this up to a 3-star read, but I think I'm going to settle on 2 stars. I did not enjoy this one. I didn't love the writing. I did not think the relationship between the grandmother and the granddaughter was believable. It was, like I said, it was very surface level. I hate using that word, but that's the only word I can think of. Like, there was no chemistry or relationship there. It was just, ugh, I don't know. The grandmother in this book is supposed to be funny. I didn't find her jokes very funny. They were actually kind of cringe, and just there was nothing about it that I liked, and I was just finding myself skimming through certain parts and not caring. The plot twist wasn't that outrageous or anything outside of the box, but yeah, this wasn't very good, at least for me. So we are not off to a great start in terms of quality reading, so let's go pick our next book. Let's pick book number 2, and I really need to get a bigger jar because my hand does not fit. Let's go with this one. Book number 2 for our 24-hour readathon is The Missing Half. Perfect. Because I need to go run some errands and I need to do some work this afternoon, and I can probably get this one on Audible. I have some Audible credits to use, and I need to continue with this readathon, and in order to do that, I need an audiobook. So perfect, perfect, perfect. This one is about 2 women haunted by their sister's unsolved disappearance. They band together in this captivating mystery, and I think the author of this book does a true crime podcast in real life called Crime Junkie. So I've never read anything from this author. I think this is her second book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the audiobook, and then I'm wearing sweatpants. I'm going to change my pants and freshen up a little bit, and then we're going to head to Target. I also need to eat lunch at some point because it's getting late. It's 12:30, but I do need to go to Target, like I said, to get some last minute school supplies for the girls. I need to run by the bank. I just need to do a few things, and then I need to come home and actually do some work. So let me get myself together and freshened up, and I guess we'll go run errands together while I listen to this on audio. Okay, it's time for another update, and I am a lot further along than I planned to be. I originally was going to do an update when I was like a third of the way through, and I think I'm more than halfway through the book, and this is where I'm at on time. I did pause it so that I can talk to you guys, so I'm almost at the 6-hour mark. But let's talk about the missing half. I've been listening to it on audiobook, and I'm loving the narrator. So far, I'm really enjoying the story. It's really engaging. I'm wanting to know what happens next, and this is definitely more of a crime investigation type mystery. You're trying to figure out what's going on. But in this book, we're following two characters, and both of their sisters disappeared 7 years ago, and their cases are very similar. And they think whoever took them, abducted them, is the same person. So they're working together 7 years after the fact to find out what happened to their sister. But right now, I'm really enjoying this book. I want to know what's going to happen next. I had a theory on who it could be, and I think that theory at this point is wrong. I think it's too obvious, and so I don't know who's responsible for the disappearance at all. I have no clue. Anytime an author can make me feel that way, then they're doing a good job. But right now, I would say it's like a 3.5, maybe even a 4-star read, which is great because I really did not like the last book I read, and I thought that was a really terrible way to start off this readathon. But yeah, I'm loving this. I know that this book has gotten some mixed reviews, and I'm personally really enjoying it. When I'm looking for a mystery or a thriller, I look for certain things, and so far this is delivering on all of those things that I want. Like, I want a well-written story, and it's going to keep me guessing, right? And I don't want to put it down. I want to keep reading it, and so that's what this book is doing. So if you like investigative crime, mystery thrillers, then right now I would say go ahead and pick this one up because I'm enjoying it. So I haven't physically read this book yet. I've only listened to it on audio, but I will be here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to pick it up and finish it with my eyeballs. So, but yeah, this is really good so far. So, yay! What? What the heck? I have less than 50 pages left, and a major plot twist just happened, and I was not expecting it. What? Okay, let me hurry up and finish this. and we'll chat. Okay. Okay, done with book number 2, and I have thoughts. Before I get into that, let's do just catch up on the time. I have 15 hours and 49 minutes left of this challenge, and let's talk about this book. I was loving this book up until probably the last few chapters, and then it went a little off the rails. There was a huge plot twist that I really liked. I absolutely was not expecting it, and then it just did a downward spiral very quickly. How would I rate this? I think right after that plot twist, I was thinking this is definitely a 4-star book, and then quickly after I was like, ooh, no. So I think I'm going to settle on 3 stars on this one. This book was what I liked about it. It was very fast paced. I liked the characters, the mystery surrounding what happened to their sisters. I enjoyed all of that. I enjoyed the friendship that they were forming together. It was almost like they were forming a little bit of a sisterhood too. So I really enjoyed that. I really hated how this ended. It was so, I can suspend my disbelief pretty well in most books, but this ending was so, it was just not plausible. I couldn't wrap my mind around it, and I didn't like the ending. So yeah, that's kind of what I think about this one. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would, just for that one plot twist alone, but just go into this not expecting a whole lot. I enjoyed it. I did. I don't know. I just really, again, I did not love that ending. So it is what it is. Okay, let's go put this book up. And what time is it? It is 6:20 p.m. It did take me a little bit longer to read this one because I was listening on audiobook, and usually if I listen to audiobooks, it takes me a little bit longer to get through them. And then also too, my kids got home from school and I had to keep stopping. Anyway, so it took a little bit longer, so it's fine. But let's go put this up and choose our next book. Let's pick book number 3. And that is going to be this one right here. Okay. Book number 3 is Wild and Wrangled. Perfect. All right. So I read a cozy mystery. I read a investigative crime mystery or thriller. And now we're going to go with a romance. And this is the 4th and final book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. I've read all 3 books before this one, and I've been enjoying the series. It's like a 3-star series. I think I've only given one of the books 4 stars. And this is just a contemporary romance with small town cowboys, and I think this is a perfect way to break up some of the thrillers and the mysteries I've been reading. And it's a shorter book too. It's well, maybe not that short. It's about 340 something pages. And I've heard this is really good, and I definitely want to finish this series. So I am not mad that I picked this one. And also too, this one is on the TBR that I did for the summer reads I wanted to do this season. So I'm excited to get to it. Now I'm going to go get settled in, and I'm going to get started reading Wild and Wrangled. Alright guys, let's do another update real quick. I'm sorry about the really bad lighting. We have the warm light bulbs here in our bedroom, and it makes everything look yellow, so I'm so sorry. But doing a quick time update, we have about 14 and a half hours left, And I'm really liking this. This is really cute. Okay, so this is about Camille and Dusty, and the book opens because Camille was left at the altar. She was supposed to marry this guy, and he was a no-show, and he left her a note, said, "I'm sorry, I can't do it." And Dusty comes to her rescue. Now, Dusty was a guy that I'm assuming they dated in high school, and I'm assuming they were each other's first love. Something happened, and obviously they broke up and have not really been near each other very much since then. And Camille, we've actually met before in previous books. She is a single mom. Her and Gus from, he had his own book in the book before this one called Lost and Lassoed, and that's actually my favorite. But they are co-parenting their daughter together. So again, we've met Camille before. And this is just really sweet. I love hearing about their backstory. You're getting a then and now scenario where every few chapters you're going to go back in time when they first met in high school and kind of how their relationship developed. And what I love most is he writes her letters. Like, he'll borrow her pen in English class and a piece of paper, and he'll write her these sweet little notes. And I am a sucker for note writing in books, and I'm just eating that up. But this is really sweet. But yeah, that's where we're at. She's moving into Meadowlark, and she's found a home, and it sounds like there's gonna be a little bit of close proximity. Not that close, they're not sharing the same house, but I'm not gonna tell you too much because I don't want to spoil it. But this is really sweet and I'm enjoying it. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a break, and it is about 7:50. I'm going to get the kids, make sure they take their showers and all that. I need to take a shower and wash my face and just put some PJs on and curl up for the night. So I'm gonna take probably an hour pause on the timer and get all that done, and then I'll just hop back into this 24-hour readathon. I think this is going really well. I'm on my third book. I'm very happy with the books that I picked because my first book was a book that was on my August TBR. The second book was one of the thrillers I wanted to read this summer, and this one was a book on my summer TBR. And it is the last book in a series. I'm so excited that I'm going to close out that series because I don't always finish series. So, all right, I'm yapping enough. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay, it's time for another update. And I really don't have anything else to add to this other than this is very much a slow burn. I really find their relationship whenever they were teenagers really sweet, and I loved. This one is definitely each other's first love type book, and it really, I think the author did a great job of showing just that yearning and the love that they had for each other. But this is really sweet. I'm still enjoying it. I'm on chapter 31. We have about 80 pages left, but I am actually really, really tired, and it's 9:50, so I thought I'd be able to finish this tonight, but I think I'm going to call it a night. I have about 12 and a half hours left on the clock, so I think we'll just finish up tomorrow. I'm really, really tired, and I don't think I can read anymore. So I'll finish this up in the morning, and I'll see you then. Good night. Good morning. It is the next day and I finished Wild and Wrangled this morning and I enjoyed this. I thought this was really cute. So this one, when I was reading it, I think with my last update, I was telling you guys that I was really loving it. It was sweet, and that's still true. I did really enjoy this. However, once I got well past the halfway mark, I started to get bored and I felt like it was kind of dragging on a little bit. Especially there at the very, very end. But there was a reason why it needed to drag on. This is the last book in the series and I don't think we're gonna see any of these characters ever again. So the author was probably just giving us a wrap up of all the characters from all of the books. I did like that, I enjoyed it, but it just seemed to keep going and going and going, and I was ready for the book to end. Reason why I think I'm gonna settle on 3 stars with this one, and I think that is because there were some things about it that I didn't like. I really did not like the 3rd act conflict. It was kind of goofy and I feel like the author just threw it in there just to give us a conflict, and I didn't think it was necessary and I really hated it. Also too, I have a pet peeve when it comes to cussing. I don't mind books that have cussing, and there's not a lot of bad language in here. There's some, but it's not bad. But I cannot stand it when adults are cussing in front of children. There are 2 scenes in this book where that happens. One is in front of Riley, and then another is at a soccer game, like a kid's soccer game. And I read that and I just rolled my eyes like, are you kidding me? I am not a saint, but I try my best around my children and other children. I try to be careful of what I say around them because children are listening, and I don't want to set that example for children. I don't want them to, I don't know. It's a pet peeve. I can't stand it. But outside of those 3 things, it was cute. I enjoyed it, and I feel like it was a solid conclusion to the series. I think if you weren't familiar with it, the first book is Done and Dusted. I think I gave this one 3 stars. It was cute. The second book is Swift and Saddled. I think I gave this one 3 stars as well. It's not my favorite in the series. Then I have Lost and Lassoed. I gave this one 4 stars. This was so good. This is Hate to Love. These 2 people cannot stand each other. Loved it. 4 stars. And then Wild and Wrangled. So I think overall this is a 3-star series and I think that's a good rating for what it is. A 3-star rating is not bad. We have 11 hours and 14 seconds left, and it is actually 7:15 this morning. And I do have some work I need to do. I need to help my kids get off to school, and so it's going to be a little bit of a busy morning, but I'm really hoping I can get an audiobook for my next book. Let's pick book number 4. And if you can't tell, I switched out my container because my hand just did not fit in that little bitty jar. But book number 4 is going to be, come on, Night Swim. That is actually perfect because I was going to have a little dilemma if it was going to be another romance book. So I have some things I need to do this morning, and I was really needing to listen to an audiobook, and I don't like listening to romances on audio. It gives me the ick. I don't know why, but I can't do it. So I was hoping for another thriller, and I'm super glad I picked this one because I have a hold on Libby for this book, and it came through a few days ago. So I have this one available for free. Yay! So we're gonna listen to The Night Swim this morning, and then I'll probably end up physically reading the rest of it. The blurb on this one says, a true crime podcast host covering a controversial trial finds herself drawn deep into a small town's dark past and a brutal crime that took place there years before. So I think this is going to be just another investigative or crime mystery thriller, and I do enjoy these sometimes. I don't always love those type of books, but I think if done right, then I can enjoy them. But this is going to be book number 4, and let's get going. All right, let me move you a little closer. It's time for an update. I am a little less than halfway through The Night Swim, and so far I am very much enjoying this. This is definitely more of an investigative mystery or thriller. And this one we're following Rachel, and she runs a podcast, and as part of this season's podcast, she is following a very famous case that's happening at the moment in Neapolis, North Carolina. And the case involves a 19-year-old swimmer who has been accused of rape. And she's there to cover that case. But there is a second plot happening at the same time. When Rachel gets to town, initially she finds a note on her windshield, and it is written by a woman named Hannah, and she says her sister died, I think 20-ish years ago, and that death was ruled a accidental drowning, and she doesn't think that's the case. She thinks something nefarious happened to her sister, and she would like for Rachel to look into her sister's death. So we have two stories going on at the same time. I'm finding it very, very interesting. I've been actually listening to the audio for the past couple of hours, and I am captivated. Something else that's good about this book is there is a little bit of a podcast element. You'll have a chapter where you're following Hannah, you'll have a chapter when you're following Rachel, and then you'll have a chapter where you're following this podcast that Rachel is doing called Guilty or Not Guilty. So I really like that setup, and I think Megan Golden has done a phenomenal job of just capturing my interest and presenting both sides of didn't he do this. So where I'm at in this book is I'm on chapter 25, page 151, and the case has just started. Both the prosecutor and the defense attorney have both given their opening testimony, and that's where we're at. And I feel like I am put in the jury's box because I don't know right now, did he do it? You know, should I believe her, or did he really, because they both gave a really convincing argument. And so I thought that was very interesting, because initially I was like, what a scumbag, he definitely did it. You know, you tend to believe women, but now I'm like, well, maybe he didn't. And I thought that was very interesting, because if you know, in court cases, all you need is that one person to just hang the jury and not get a guilty verdict. So far I'm enjoying this one. I think I should be able to be finished in a couple of hours. It is currently 10:07, and I have about 8.5 hours left, and I think I should be able to finish this probably in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we can pick our next book. I do need to go get some more school supplies, believe it or not. My oldest daughter came home yesterday, and she said she needed a couple of things, and I hope that's it, because the back to school shelves at the stores are bare, and I need 3 subject notebooks, and I got the last one at Target, so I'm gonna have to go to another store today and see if I can get some more. But yeah, hopefully that's it. But yeah, so far so good. I'm really enjoying this one, and I will touch base with you, I guess, when I finish this book. Okay, I have about 30 pages left, and first I want to say this is a very, very, very difficult book to read. Obviously, I told you already that you're discussing a rape case between a 16-year-old girl and a 19-year-old boy, and it raises some questions of, should women always be believed? The fairness in having a rape victim take the stand and have to relive what was done to them. Just a lot of different things. It's covering a lot of different topics that are very relevant today, and that part is exceedingly hard to read. This is this is a summary, I guess, investigative thriller. It's set in the summertime, so I would recommend it for the summer, but this is not like a book that you can just take to the pool or to the beach. It's very it's a difficult book to read, but I'm really liking how this book was kind of put together so far. As I mentioned earlier, it's bringing up questions, and again, the fairness of how we treat rape victims and what we expect from them, and this is good. I'll give you an update here in a few minutes, but I would recommend this book so far. Very good. book number 4 is done. This was so good. I really don't have anything else to add other than what I've already told you. I'm gonna say this is a 5-star read, which says a lot because I don't give many books like this. Like, I don't give thrillers or mysteries, or especially investigative thrillers. I don't give them 5 stars. They're usually, you know, 3 and 4-star reads. But this was, I think what I liked most about this was the way it made you think. It made you question things. It made you look at both sides. Made you think about society. There were just other things happening that's happening now, and it just kind of brought it all together and made me think about my views on things. And this was a very, very hard read. I definitely teared up in a few spots, but so well done. But we need to go pick book number 5. Let's go do that now. But to update you on time, I did pause the time so I could talk to you guys, but we have 5 hours and 40 minutes left, which should be enough time for me to read one more book. And that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna pick book number 5. And book number 5 is going to be, and I'm hoping it's something light because that was a very sad and traumatic book to read. I'm not gonna lie, it's not an easy read at all. Okay, good. What Not to Do on Vacation. That one is this book right here. It's by Rachel Maggie or Maggie. I don't know how you pronounce the last name, but this is a summer book that I bought this year. I think it's a new release for this year. I'm not sure. Let me see. Yes. So this was released in 2025, so this is a newer release. I think based off of who the publisher is, this is probably going to be a clean romance. And the blurb on this one reads, 3 sisters, 2 summer romances, and 1 big secret collide in this modern makeover of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. And this one is just over 300 pages, so I can absolutely get through this in probably less than 5 hours. So I'm very happy I picked this one because that last book was very much a hard read just because of the content and the subject matter, and I think this is just going to be a light summer read, which is what I'm really looking for right now. So I'm going to get started on this one. Okay, it's time for an update. I am about 100 pages into What Not to Do on Vacation by Rachel McGee. And so far this is really cute. It's definitely reading like it's a wholesome women's fiction with probably a side plot of a romance. I think this is definitely going to be a clean, closed door type rom-com. But this is about 3 sisters, and you're following the POV of each sister as well as one other character. So with these 3 sisters, one of them lives in Houston and the other 2 lives in Atlanta. And when they were kids, they would always go to Florida for a summer vacation. They would stay there for a month. So the oldest sister, Savannah, decides that they need to go on this vacation again and relive their childhood days. So she books the same vacation beach house, and the 3 sisters go to this beach house for 4 weeks and spend time together and knock off lists on the summer bucket list that they used to do as kids. Obviously, things are not going to go as planned. And while they're there, the youngest sister, Bianca, mentions that she is getting married to a guy that she met online. She has not met him in person. He lives in Idaho, and she's planning to move to Idaho to be with him and get married. She's known him for a month. Her sisters are like, wait a minute. It's really hard to explain, so I'm going to read this little portion of the synopsis on the back of the book. It says, enter Bianca, the baby of the family, with a huge announcement. She's getting married, and her sisters' reactions are not exactly what she's hoped for. But Bianca is on a mission to prove that she is not the mess they think she is. Her grand plan: to find love for Cora, her perpetually single sister, on the same dating app where she found her fiance. The stakes? I bet that if Cora can't find her one on the app, Bianca will call off her engagement. A challenge Bianca is all too ready to tackle head on, even if it even if it means a little conniving. Cora is about to get swept off her feet, whether she likes it or not. So that is kind of where I am. And I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it. And so far, I'm enjoying the relationships that the sisters have with each other. I'm enjoying this vacation and the fact that they're older, they're not kids anymore, and they're trying to do some things that they used to do as kids, and it's not as easy as what it was when they were kids, and things are a little bit different. But yeah, it's going good. I'm enjoying it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I have about 3.5 hours left on the timer, so that's plenty of time to finish this last part of the book. And when I was reading this last chapter, I noticed that I kept nodding off, so I think I need my eyes to rest a little bit. I need to do a couple other things work-wise. So I'll check in with you guys when I get a little bit closer to the end and give you some more thoughts. I am on page 182, chapter 16, and I have about probably 120-ish pages left to go. And this is really cute. I'm really having a good time with this. It's very entertaining, it's fun, but there's some depth to it. Like I said, we're following 3 sisters. So, you know, the oldest sister, she has something going on. She's also wanting to recapture their childhood. I'm sorry, the dog's gonna bark. The middle child, she's not a hard person, but she doesn't do emotion. She's just trying to live her best life and be successful. And then the youngest sister, Bianca, she's kind of lost her way. She's just lost, and she doesn't know what her purpose is, and she's trying to find that. And I just feel like the relationships with each other are complicated and make sense. I love the romance that's in this. I love some of the snappy and witty dialogue. It reminds me a lot of Catherine Center. And it's just a really good book. I'm pleasantly surprised by this one. I have not heard from this author. I bought this on a whim at Target. It was one that I was really wanting to get to this summer, and I'm glad I picked it up. I only have about this much left, and I'm having a great time with it. So I'll check in when this book is over. I'll give you my final thoughts, and we'll wrap up this video. Again, I'm sorry for the lighting, but I had to take a pause on the timer. We only have 8 minutes left because I had to share this quote with you because it just hit me really hard, and I teared up a little bit because I'll tell you why in just a minute. But it says, "It wasn't a perfect day, but maybe that was the problem. She'd been trying so hard for so long to make everything match the ideal vision she had in her mind that she missed the everyday perfection that was happening all around her." And the reason why that hit really hard for me is I had to step away from social media for a long time back in 2020. You know, that was during COVID. That was during the 2020 election. And for my mental health, just on those two things, I had to definitely step away. Also, too, I'm glad I stepped away from it because it helped me in how I see myself as a mom. Through Facebook, and in this community, I have mom friends, and they are amazing and wonderful women. But I did find myself comparing myself to them and what they posted on social media. Like, they had these perfect pictures of their families, everything, all the hair was perfect, you know, they had these very special vacations they went on, those were perfect, just everything was perfect. And my life is not perfect. It's messy and it's crazy, it's chaotic, there's dog hair everywhere, all this, it's not perfect. And I felt like I just never could measure up in terms of being a good mom. It did something to me. But when I stepped away from social media, it was the best thing I ever did. I still have my Facebook account and I still hop on every once in a while because of school stuff and just because there's school groups on Facebook and I have to get on. And every time I do, I go through my thread just to see what I've been missing occasionally, and those old feelings crop back up. So if you are ever in that same boat as I am, step away from social media. It does wonders for yourself. Okay, so quick update. I have about 8 minutes left and I have about 30 pages left. So I'll give you a final update here in just a second. Hour Readathon's over, but I have like a few pages left, so bear with me. This was so good. Okay, I'm finished. You know what, let me get the other books and we'll do my final thoughts and we'll wrap up this video too. BRB. I have all the books, so let's do my final thoughts on this one. I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. I felt like it was a lighthearted, summery, beachy book, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the romance in it. I love the sister relationships. But this was also not a light read because you're dealing with some pretty serious topics in here. It's not so serious that you can't take it to the beach, but just some life. It covers some topics that happens in life. And I feel like this author did a great job in covering those deeper topics. This book is a clean romance. There is just maybe 1 or 2 kissing scenes and that's it. There's no cussing at all. There's conflict and problems, but it's real, and it's more, there's romance in here, but it's really more about the relationships between these sisters, and I really enjoyed it. And also too, since you're following 3 different sisters, each sister has things going on, and so there's different storylines you're following, and one of the storylines reminded me a lot about the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So if you like that movie, you would probably enjoy this too. But this was just a sweet, tender, wholesome, great book. I think if you like Courtney Walsh, you would probably like this author too. I absolutely want to read more from her. 5 stars. It was so good. Okay, so the 24-hour readathon is officially complete. Let's do a quick recap. First, we have This Is Not a Game. I gave this one 2 stars, was not my favorite. And next, I listened to this one on audio as well as read this physical book, but it's The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. I gave this one 3 stars, was loving it up until probably the last little bit, and then it took a very sharp downward turn. But this was a 3-star read. And then I read Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the 4th book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. So I completed this series with this book and I thought it was really sweet. I gave this one 3 stars, I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna settle on 3 stars with this one. It was sweet. Then I read The Night Swim. This was a 5-star read. This was not, like I said, this was not an easy read. It has some really tough content and it was a tough read, but I'm glad I read it. But it was just a very well written book and I enjoyed it, so this was a 5-star read. And then finally, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. Go read this book. We're still in the middle of August. There's still time to read a summary book. Read this one, it was so good. This one is What Not to Do on Vacation by Rachel, I think it's McGee or McGee. So good. So yeah, the last 2 books I read were 5-star reads. So I read a total of 5 books in this 24-hour readathon. I definitely took my time with these last 2 books. They took a lot longer to read just because I was enjoying them so much. I was reading every single word. Usually if it's just like a 3-star book, if it's just nothing special, I fly through them pretty quickly just because I do tend to read a little bit faster if it's not really holding my attention. But these 2 5-star reads. This was the biggest surprise. I was not expecting to love this as much as I did. Typically with these types of books, I give them 3 stars. I just see them as seasonal reads. I don't see them as anything special, but this one was a big surprise. But these are the books I read. Thank you so much for joining me on this 24-hour readathon. I don't do these videos very often. I don't do reading vlogs just because life. I'm a married mother of 2 daughters. I run my own business at home, so a lot of the reading I do is at night. And it makes doing these type of videos very difficult. I can't do them. I do want to try to at least doing some form of a reading vlog, maybe not a little bit long, maybe just a couple of days. I'll go over a couple of books. I don't know. I need to figure out a way to do it because I do enjoy watching these videos. If you would like to see me do some form of a reading vlog, maybe once a month or once every other month, leave me a book emoji so that I know that that's something that interests you. But yeah, these are the books I read. If you read any of these, please let me know what you thought about them. If you enjoyed this video, I hope it wasn't boring. I'm a boring person. I don't do a whole lot. That's another reason why I don't do reading vlogs, is because I don't feel like anyone would want to see my boring life. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.